Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Now we are seeing the Mahavakya Upadesha. Tattvamasi iti Mahavakya Upadesha we are seeing. Though between Ishvara and Jiva there is a big difference between a glowworm and the sun, or between the king and his servant, or between the koshas. But when we remove the conditionings, the Ishvara and Jiva are one and the same. That is why Bhagavan has said in Upadesa Undiyar, Irukkum iyarkayal, from the standpoint of existence, Irukkum iyarkayal. Is a Sivargal, the Ishvara and the Jiva, Oru Porule Avar they are one only. Upadi Unarve Veru Undipara. Only the Upadis are different. Both of them have got different Upadis. So as I told you yesterday, we cannot and we have no business to remove the Upadi of the Ishvara. We cannot. So what we can do is we can go beyond the Panchakoshas by negating the Panchakoshas. When you arrive at the pure self, then the realization is all these world and other things are only imagined, and there is only the self. So automatically the Upadhi of the Ishvara is negated and Parabrahma is realized. So as I told you, only with respect to the wife, the husband is born. So only with respect to the Upadhi, the Jiva Bhava, and the Jiva Bhava projects everything else other than himself. So once when this Jiva Bhava is removed, everything goes and he realizes the self. This is the idea. So please don't take it lightly. With so much of contemplation and also intuitive experience, I am telling you, only the self can be realized without any equipment. Any faulty equipment, nothing else can be realized. Brahman, if you think is something else, sorry, you cannot realize it by dropping all the equipment. Because only through thoughts anything else can be experienced. Beyond thoughts, only the self, which is the existence, can be experienced. So from this existence standpoint, the Jiva and Ishvara are one only. That is the idea. You understand? So till here, we have come. Now, moving on. Now we shall see the verse 245. 245. Athata adesha iti shruti swayam निषेधति ब्रह्मणि कल्पितं द्वयम् श्रुति प्रमाणानुगृहीत बोधात् तयोर्निरासकरणीय एव अथात आदेश इति श्रुति स्वयं निषेधति ब्रह्मणि कल्पितं द्वयम् श्रुति प्रमाणानुगृहीत बोधात् तयोर्निरासकरणीय एव अथात आदेश इति श्रुतिहि means in the Vedas, that is in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this statement comes. Athata adeshaha. Now is the injunction. Adesha means injunction. Ataha means now. Athata adesha. Now is this injunction. So through that what is said there? Athata adesha ne iti na iti iti shrutihi. It is said not this, not this. Everything has been negated. Swayam nishedhati brahmani kalpitam dvayam. So through that Upanishadic statement, the Rishi has negated, nishedhati, negated in Brahman. Brahmani means in Brahman. Kalpitam dvayam, the imagined Dvaita. Dvayam, what is the Dvaita? Ishvara and Jiva. So it is kalpitam. It is only imagined. Why? From the highest standpoint, there is nothing called as Jiva or Ishvara. It is only the Brahman, the Atman, the Self. So the scriptures, what they do? They negate. Na iti, it is not, it is not. And then they try to negate the duality in the truth. The absolute truth. Shruti pramana anugrihita bodhad. And depending on the authority of the scriptures, Shruti pramana. Anugrihita bodhad. When you realize the true self or the Parabrahma Paramatma, you realize this in your own heart, that this Dvaita is only imagined. So therefore, tayor nirasa karani eva. Therefore, this negation of the duality has to be done by a seeker, by realizing his own self, his own true self. So therefore, there is no sort of place for sentimentalism. How can I reject? I can reject myself at least. I can reject the world. How can I reject Ishvara, Pavam? He has given me everything. How can I reject him? It is not that you are rejecting and he is going to get angry or anything. Because in Tattva Vichara there is no place for emotion or sentiments. Here, when the Upadhi is transcended, you see nothing other than the self. Whatever you have imagined as something other than yourself, it's all only an imagination. But I warned you yesterday one day, I cautioned you. Imagination means you should not take it in a very ordinary sense. When you think you are very real, your life is very real, you are very concerned about your future, about your children, and you are very much overwhelmed by the world, then definitely there is Ishvara. You understand? But when you go beyond, then Brahman alone. So once again I want, then do you mean in the state of ignorance there is duality, and only when you realize there is non-duality? No. Even in the state of ignorance also, the duality is only an appearance. It is not truth. You understand? When we are ignorant, we see the snake vision in the rope. At that time also it is rope only, not the snake. But we see the snake, Mahatmas also agree with us. Okay, you are seeing the snake now? Right. Now you will start inquiry from there. See the snake, when they say see the snake, they are not agreeing to our statement. See, it is like this. Examine closely, is it a snake? Like that they take us to the rope only. First they agree with us, yes, it's a snake, but let us examine it very closely. That is how they approach. When they straight away say it is rope only, we will not believe in them. I am seeing the snake. So first of all they say, okay, is snake na, we will examine. Like that they approach the issue. Understand? So therefore, Shruti Pramana Grihita Bodhad, solely depending on the authority of the scriptures and gaining this knowledge, we have to Nirasaha Karaniyeva, negate the false and abide in the truth. So this has to be done by the seeker. See, it's very hard actually, because the seeker has given up everything in the world, let us say, and he is solely depending on God for everything. But here, God is also questioned, and then you are left in the mid-air. You don't know what to do also. See, that is why it is walking on the razor's edge. So great masters, they don't shake anybody's faith. So they don't even talk about Advaita. They say Parameshwara is there, he will take care and all. That is true also. See, in the relative existence, that is true also. So, and only for the very Pakwa student, this is revealed actually. Our Gurudev was so gracious and so liberal, he gave it to everybody. But some people were not for it actually. Because if you misunderstand this, that is a big danger. When you suddenly start saying there is no God, no, all imagination of your mind, that is not the truth actually. Not that way it is. When you keep yourself intact and you want everything, but you reject God, means that is not truth. First you reject yourself, then you need not reject God or anything. There won't be anybody left to reject anything. So that is the idea. Now moving on. This Mahavakya Upadesha is a very serious subject. So you have to be very attentive. Nedam kalpitatvanna satyam Rajju drishta vyalavat swapnavaccha Ittam drishyam sadhu yuktya vyapohya Nyeya paschadeka bhavastayoryaha Na idam kalpitatvat na satyam Rajju drishta vyalavat swapnavaccha Na idam, not this. Why? Kalpitatvat, because it is just imagined. Na satyam, it is not the truth. Like what? Rajju drishta vyalavat. Like you see the snake in the rope. Or swapnavat cha. Swapnavat means like the dream. So this is not real. Why it is said twice? To negate the gross and the subtle. Not this. So this is the heart of Vedantic sadhana. Reject as not this. Why? It is all kalpitam. Only through thoughts all these things are perceived, not otherwise. Thoughts also rise and fall. Thoughts appear and disappear. So you cannot, depending on the authority of thought, establish a truth. Because thought itself is appearing and disappearing. It is not the truth. So, depending on the authority of thought, you cannot establish the truth. So, you go beyond the thought, then you find there is nothing other than one's own existence, true self. Satchit. Satchit. So, therefore, all this is kalpitatvat, na satyam. It is not the satyam, the absolute truth. Like the snake in the rope, or like you see the dream. While you are dreaming, it is real. But when you wake up, it is all unreal. Similarly, when you wake up to the highest, then this world, in this waking world also, you will find it to be unreal. Ittam drishyam sadhyuktya vyapohya. Thus, drishyam, all that is seen as not self, sadhyuktya, with the real logic and reasoning, as given by the scriptures, vyapohya, when you give it up, when you negate, nyeyaha paschat, then you will know what? Eka bhavaha tayoryaha. Tayoho means between Ishvara and Jiva. Tayoho, between these two, Ishvara and Jiva. Eka bhavaha tayoryaha means you will realize. Nyeyaha means you will realize the oneness between these two, Ishvara and Jiva. So we have to negate all that is false. Only then you will arrive at a point where you yourself will realize that everything is one. There is no duality whatsoever. It is all imagined. Once when you are there, then it is very clear, so you will not slip back. You will not be engulfed by ignorance again. No. Yad ghatva na nivartante. Once realized totally, then that is it. He has realized it. So, till that point of time, when it becomes sahaja, a natural state for you, you have to go on negating the false. Negating the false is not a physical activity. See? Here is just in your own mind, you negate. What is the real Lakshana of negation? You should not get attached to the false. And you should always be abiding in the self, means or true to your own self. What is the self? It is Satchit Anandam. It is Asangam. It is not tainted by anything. So that way we have to live, learn to live. And we have to assert that I am the Brahma Tattvam, not this body mind. Again and again and again, by asserting the truth and negating the false, we arrive at this Brahma Tattvam. There it is very clear, there is no duality. There is no difference between the Ishvara and Jiva, essentially. So they are one only. Now moving on. Tatastu tau lakshanaya sulakshya sulakshyau tayora kandaikar sattva siddhaye nalam jagatya natata jagatya kintu bhayartatmikayaiva bhavyam tataha tu tau lakshanaya sulakshyau tayoho akanda eka rasatva siddhaye. Meaning what? Therefore, tataha tu tau means between the Ishvara and Jiva. Tau means between these two. Tau lakshanaya sulakshyau. See, lakshanaya means, see, in the Vedantic literature, Lakshana abdina enna arthomna? Lakshana means the method of deriving the implied meaning of a statement. Lakshana means what? A method of deriving at the real meaning. Implied meaning in a scriptural statement is called Lakshana. So Lakshanaya means what? By the process of this Lakshana, of deriving at the implied meaning, Sulakshyau, you have to come to the real meaning of the scriptural statement. What is that process? That he is going to explain here. In this shloka only he is explaining. How to go about. What is the process or what is the method used to understand the implied meaning of the scriptural statement. That is what he is going to explain. So, when you come to the real meaning of the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, then Tayoho means between the Jiva and Ishvara, you know that Akhanda Eka Rasatva Siddhaye. You understand that essentially they are one. And what is that? Akhanda Eka Rasatva. Akhanda means unbroken, one without the second. You will realize or you will come to that sort of understanding. So how to go about? Na alam jahatya, na tata ajahatya. There is Jahal Lakshana and Ajahal Lakshana. We will see what it is. Here he says, Na alam jahatya, only using this Jahal Lakshana, it cannot be arrived at. Na Ajahal Lakshya, only by using the Ajahal Lakshana also you cannot arrive at. So what has to be done? Ubayor arthamikayaiva bhavyam. So you have to employ both Jahal and Ajahal Lakshana to arrive at the real meaning of this Tattvamasi Mahavakya Upadesha. What is the Jahal Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana? What is that? If you ask, Jahal Lakshana means in a statement, you should not take it literally. Maybe some portion you may have to leave it and understand. Jahal Lakshana means. For example, if I say, my house is on the sea. If I say, my house is on the sea. See, while talking in the conversation we say, na, on the road, on the main road we say, or on the sea we say. It doesn't mean that it is on the waters. I am not living in Venice. What is that? Venice, European country. I am not living there on the water. It means on the seashore only. You understand? On the land only it is. But it is very close to the sea. I tell them it is on the sea, on the main road. Not on the middle of the main road. You understand? So we have to leave certain things and understand. It is not exactly on the main road or on the sea. It is just very close to the sea. So Jahal Lakshana means you have to reject certain things and understand. You understand? Ajahal Lakshana means, you know what? Ajahal Lakshana means when something is said, literally you should not take. You should introduce certain things extra and understand. For example, in the horse race, if somebody is saying, hey, red is running, you should wonder, how can the red run? Red means what? How can the red color run? Red horse is running. So you should add certain information. It is implied there. But during the course of conversation, they may not say, red is running, means red horse is running. So you have to include certain things. That is Ajahal Lakshana. Jahal Lakshana means you have to reject certain things. Ajahal means we should include certain things. But regarding this Mahavakya Upadesha, either of these two are not sufficient by itself. So we have to employ both. Meaning what? We have to reject certain aspect and include certain other aspect, and we should understand the Mahavakya Upadesha. So we have to employ both Jahal Lakshana and Ajahal Lakshana and try to understand. So what has to be rejected? The upadhis, which are the conditioning of the Ishvara and Jiva, should be rejected. What should be understood, what should be included, or what should be arrived at, what should be understood is the Ekatvam, the oneness. So, employing both Jahal Lakshana and Ajahal Lakshana. meaning rejection and addition. We have to arrive at the actual meaning, the implied meaning, the lakshyartha of this Mahavakya Upadesha. You understand now? So either of one is not sufficient. Only if you say remove the conditioning, then it doesn't make any meaning actually, any sense. If you say only, no, Ekarasa is there, where is Ekarasa? Ishvara is different, Jiva is different. How can you say Ekarasa? So only when you say negate the conditioning and then you will arrive at the Ekarasa between the two. So both have to be understood together. So this is called as Jahal Lakshana and Ajahal Lakshana. You understand? So tataha tu tau lakshanaya sulakshyau. Through the process of arriving at the actual meaning, that is lakshanaya sulakshyau, you have to understand the proper meaning. Not just like that you should understand the Mahavakya Upadesha. How the scriptures have revealed it, how the Mahatmas have understood it, how the Guru has taught us. Accordingly we should walk and we should try to understand. Then only you will arrive at what? Akhanda Ekarasattva Siddhaye. You will arrive at the actual oneness. Akhanda means unbroken, non-dual. That self you arrive at, true self you arrive at. So here it is said, Na alam, alam means enough. Na alam jahatya, by rejecting also. Adhe madri na tata ajahatya, not by introducing or accepting few more things also, it can be established. Kintu ubayor, ubayor means by both. Jahal and Ajahal Lakshana, eva bhavyam. So you have to understand this. This is what explained in this verse. Now, how actually it should be done? Now he is going to explain it in the next two verses. Very interesting, you know. And Gurudev also in his commentary has explained it very beautiful. We have to read the next two verses together. Sadevadatto yamitiha chaikata viruddha dharma shamapasya katyate yata tata tattvamasiti vakye viruddha dharmanubhayatra hitva samlakshya chinmatrataya sadatmano akanda bhava parichiyate budaihi evam mahavakya shatena katyate brahmatmanoreikyam akanda bhavaha. See? Sa Devadattaha ayam iti. See, this is the famous example used by Adi Shankara. He always takes up one fictional name, Devadatta. Each Mahatmas have got their own names, you know. Our Acharya always uses Gupta ji. In all his examples, he says Gupta ji. Gupta, like that, Adi Shankara uses Devadatta. Sa Devadatta ayam. Ayam means not I am. In Sanskrit, ayam. Ayam means, Sa means that, Devadatta is this person. Ayam means this. Ayam means this. In this example, Sa means that. That means what? You must have seen the Devadatta long time back as a young person, right? Very handsome and, you know, bubbling, very dynamic. And then, after 20 years, say, you are going to the railway station to receive him. He is coming to visit you. After 20 years, you know, you are just searching for him. Where is he? Where is he? And then there gets down a semi-bald person mellowed down, little matured, and with his little children around him, the wife and everything, he is coming with baggage. You wonder, you see, yes, that Devadatta is this. He has grown older and his form has changed, his demeanor has changed, and his brisk walk has become very slow. He was carefree before. Now he has become a responsible grihastha. That Devadatta is this. Meaning what? The person is the same. The person is the same. You have to reject the youthfulness, the bubbling energy, that kind of the handsome form, all those things you have to reject from that Devadatta. And this Devadatta also, whatever you are seeing, the old person, the sort of a very mellowed down personality, all this you should reject. And then what will you arrive at? The person who is Devadatta. So that Devadatta whom you have seen 20 years back is the same Devadatta here. So what you have to reject? Reject the upadhi of external conditioning. His physical appearance, his personality, it has changed now. So you reject both. And then what you have to arrive at? The oneness. The same person is seen. The person has not changed. At that time he was a youth studying and all, or aspiring for some higher career and all. Now he settled down in life. Settled down means what? Ammanji mari aitan. Onnum seiya mudiyadhu inime avana. அது அவங்களுக்கு புரியாது. Tamil it's a phrase. In a Brahminical usage, So he has become what? Like, what? A very lame duck nu vechukome. Chuma. Something like that. What else I can say? So, but he's the same person. So this is the example used in our scripture, and Adi Shankara uses this. So, iha cha ekata viruddha dharma shamapasya katyate. So here, in this example, the ekata, the oneness between these two personalities is established by what? Viruddha dharma shamapasya. By removing the viruddha dharma, the opposite dharma, or the traits of these two personalities are removed or negated, and then, same person, oneness, he is the same person. So the oneness is established here. Tat yata tata. So that is how in the Tattvamasi Mahavakya also, viruddha dharmanu ubhayatra hitva. Ubhayatra means between Ishvara and Jiva, viruddha dharma. The opposite dharmas, the nature, should be hitva, should be given up. Meaning the conditioning which is separating these two should be given up. Hitva samlakshya chinmatradaya sadatmanoho akanda bhavaha parichiye budaihi. The wise ones, budaihi means the wise ones. Samlakshya, whatever is indicated as lakshyartha, what is that? Chinmatrataya sadatmanaha akanda bhavaha parichiyate. Means chinmatrataya means is only the pure consciousness. Sadatmanaha, sadatmanaha, it is a pure existence. And akhanda bhavaha, it is unbroken, infinite, one. This oneness is arrived at. So the same person only with the conditioning of Maya is appearing to be Ishvara. So that Ishvara is this Jiva. Why? The same person with the conditioning of Pancha Koshas is appearing to be the Jiva. So that person, that Devadatta is this. So that Ishvara is this Jiva. Why? If you remove the Viruddha Dharma, the opposing conditionings of Ishvara and Jiva, what you find is one Akhanda Ekarasa. Chinmatrataya. One only you see, the one, the pure consciousness, which is ever present. And Akhanda means unbroken. It is not broken into two, Ishvara and Jiva. It is one, the pure self. So that you arrive at. So Jahal Lakshana means to reject the condition. Ajahal Lakshana means to arrive at the oneness. So only by employing both, rejecting the Viruddha Dharma, the opposing nature, the conditionings, and arriving at the oneness, that is Akhanda Ekarasa, Chinmatrataya, then you arrive at the exact right meaning of this Tattvamasi Mahavakya. Otherwise not. So as I told you, having understood this, what we have to do is, this is what important. See, this is a contemplation. Idea is given to us that Ishvara and the Jiva are only one, because these masters have realized this in their own heart. But how we have to go about, please, just by thinking, that conditioning is not true, this conditioning is not true, then we are one, like that thinking, what will happen? Nothing will happen. So what we should do is, we have to transcend this Panchakosha. That is only in our hands. That is what we have to do. So these Panchakoshas and whatever they show, the world of OET, objects, emotions and thoughts. Actually, when you identify with the body, you see a world outside. When you identify with the mind, you perceive the emotions and thoughts. You understand? So what we can do is, we have to give up this identification of the body and mind and the subsequent world and the emotions and thoughts. How we can do? By na iti. Or, idhukku sethu Bhagavan has given a solution. Because all these are only thoughts, and they have got a common platform, which is the I thought. So if you inquire who is this I, then everything is taken care. So all the imaginations are finished by inquiring with I thought and abiding in the self. Everything is imagined, he is saying, no? All the imaginations are destroyed by holding on to the root of the imagination, that is I thought. And if the I thought is understood to be the imagination, all the other thoughts are naturally imaginations only. So all the imaginations end there. And then the true self is cognized. So whatever may be the means, yoga, Raja Yoga, or Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, what we can do is, we can go beyond this body mind. Our upadhi we can give up, reject. Then we can arrive at that which cannot be rejected, that is the true self. And there, everything else is rejected. You understand? Because though it is harsh, from the absolute standpoint, since because you are identifying the body, you see a world outside. When the identification is given up, when you see no world or no personality, then there is no need to imagine a third force somewhere sitting and managing or sort of running everything. So everything boils down to the self only. So you arrive at the self, which is Akhanda Ekarasa, which is one without the second. So this is what has to be done. Through proper discrimination, na iti, you arrive at your own self. Or through holding on to the I thought and inquiring what is the source of the I thought, you dive deep, and when the I thought is destroyed, everything else is taken care. You abide in yourself. So that is the traditional Vedanta approach, and this is Bhagavan's approach. Both are same only. We are giving up all the imagination. Whatever the mind is throwing up, you should not believe. You should refuse to believe. Whatever the mind is throwing up is minds, not the truth. You should not believe in any of these things, whatever the mind is throwing up. So that is Sakshi Bhava. Sakshi Bhava means what? You are not believing in any of these ideas or thoughts, whatever the mind is throwing up. You are just remaining Sakshi, Chummarka. I will not believe you. Hey, this is beautiful, this is wonderful, I know it. Shut up. Hey, this is disgusting, I know it. You shut up. Whatever the mind is projecting as good, bad, vulgar, this, that, you need not tell me anything. I know everything, you shut up. As you approach your parents, you should approach your mind. You say, "No, I know everything, you shut up." When we are young, we are very, very arrogant, hot-headed. We think we know everything. You shut up, you say. Like that, you have to approach your mind. I know everything, you shut up. You need not tell me anything. I am not going to rely on your information. So whatever you project, whatever you throw up, everything is rejected. Then the mind cannot operate in such a condition. That is called as indifference. Udhasina vadhasinaha. The indifference is the highest sadhana. Our Acharya just now said, in the Rishikesh camp, he said, indifference is the highest sadhana, he said. What is indifference? Ud asina vad asinaha. You rise above. Ud asinaha. Ud means above. Ud asinaha means you rise above all these thought modifications. Whatever may be the thought projected, just say, I don't believe in you. So, honey, I love you. The other person says, thank you. I don't believe in it. And our Acharya said, the honey, after marrying her for 20 years, she becomes chewing gum. Honey becomes chewing gum. Chewing gum means, you know what? You go on chewing, but without any rasa. That is what he says, chewing gum. And you cannot take it out also. It sticks. Our Acharya is a very naughty person, a very mischievous person. Initially she was honey, later she has become the chewing gum. So, you should not believe in anything.
Was he also never married?
He is a sannyasi, never married, yeah. Never married. From brahmacharya to sannyasi. How do you know? You are asking. Yeah. He knows everything. He knows everything. Like Adi Shankara knowing everything. See, we are observing the world, so by observation everything is known. See, Chuma joking, he always jokes this way only. And some people are very angry about it, But he enjoys. When people get angry also he enjoys. Mauj mein raho. So therefore, nothing you should believe, whatever the mind projects. That is the end of the game. But you know what? We believe in everything, whatever the mind projects. That is our problem. And mind is having only likes and dislikes. When it likes something, we go along with it. We believe in it. When dislikes, we believe in it and we keep away or we don't want it. So like that our life goes. Now the stand is very opposite. Whatever the mind says, it is yours. I don't have anything to do with you. I am very sure about myself and I have nothing to do with you. You die your own death. You hang yourself. So when you say this to your mind, mind will hang itself. Then you are free. Free from the mind. This is what we have to do. How simple, yet very difficult. Because this mind is me. That's what we are thinking now. So much of identification that we are unable to stand apart. The body and mind and this ego personality, we consider this is me. Very difficult to stand apart. So this is how we have to go. In these two verses, the sukshma or the essence or the secret of the Mahavakya Upadesha is revealed. With the example also, with a beautiful example. Now, having said that, having explained this Mahavakya Upadesha, now how we have to sit in meditation, the attitude in meditation, that is explained in the next few verses. Astulamityedasanirasya siddham swato vyomeva dapratarkyam pratarkyam ato mrusha matramidam pratitam jahihi yatsvatmata maya grihitam jahihi yatsvatmataya grihitam brahmahamityeva vishuddha buddhya vidhi swamatmanam akanda bodham. 1 minute. I have forgotten to explain the last two sentences of the previous verse. The previous verse, the last two sentences, evam mahavakya shatena katyate brahmatmayoho aikyam akanda bhavaha. Thus, not one or two, hundreds of mahavakyas are there in our Vedas. See, mahavakya shatena. There are hundreds of mahavakya. Katyena means it is revealed, this truth. What is the truth? Brahma atmayoho aikyam akanda bhavaha. This oneness between the Brahma and Atma, akanda bhava means what? That unbroken, that one pure self is established through hundreds of mahavakyas. So there are 4 major mahavakyas. You know, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. These are all the 4 very famous popular mahavakyas. But there are hundreds of mahavakyas all through our Vedas. Everywhere Shruti Mata has really asserted again and again that the Brahma and the Self, Atma is one only. Ishvara and Jiva are one only. So this has been established again and again. So there is no doubt about that. That is what he is trying to say. So the Mahatmas have also realized, and there is Shruti Pramanam also is there. See, in our Sanatana Dharma, the Shruti Pramana is very, very important. Because any Mahatma can come and tell anything, na? See, nowadays new Acharyas are there. They come and talk in a very different language. They can tell anything. So, there should be something common basis, some sort of authority, na? So that is why the Vedas are authority. It is accepted in our Sanatana Dharma. Like, you know, Christians accept the Bible to be their source book. You know, like that. Is on faith only. See, everything is on the faith only, ultimately. For us, Vedas are the real pramana, the right means of knowledge, to know the self. Sometimes when you study Vedas, different Upanishads appear to talk differently, and you get confused. That is why Veda Vyasa have taken all the pains to bring in Brahma Sutra. He has taken up as if apparent differences in different Upanishads, and he tried to resolve all the differences through Brahma Sutra. That is why Brahma Sutra has got a very special place in our Sanatana Dharma. And Shankara has wrote Bhashyam on all. That is the beauty of Shankara. What he has done, you know, Shankara. Upanishads also, all the 10 Upanishads, major Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra, and Bhagavad Gita. All Bhashya is written. And very scientifically he has approached it, you know. If you read his Bhashya, he is like a scientist. He defines every word first, and then he brings in the thought, and then the explanation. So beautiful, Adi Shankara's Bhashya. So here, there are hundreds of Mahavakya. So therefore, there is no doubt about it. It's oneness. It is the truth, not the duality. It is akhanda. It is not broken into two. It is one only. That is established. Now, once again we will read. So what is need to be done after this Mahavakya Upadesha, and when we contemplate on it, what is to be done there? That is what is said. Astulamityeta dasannirasya siddham svato vyomeva vad pratarkyam. See, vyoma, see, please tell me from your book. Vyoma? Pratarkyam. Okay. Inge me irukku enoda bookla. Ma is may. So that is a confusion. Siddham svatavyomavadha pratarkyam ato mrishamatramidam pratitam jahi yat swatmataya grihitam brahmahamityeva vishuddha buddhya vidhi swamatmanam akanda bodham. Astulam iti etad asannirasya. Meaning what? Astulam, this self is not gross, is not subtle, is beyond. That is what the scriptures say, na? So, iti etad asannirasya. Like this, having rejected all the asat, by saying not gross, whatever gross world I see, it is not. Whatever subtle world I perceive within, it is not. Like that, etat nirasya, asan nirasya, the asat, the false is given up. Then siddham swataha vyomavad apratarkyam. Then you arrive at what? Siddham swataha, which is established by itself. The self which needs no other means to confirm it. It exists on its own authority. So, swata siddham. So, establish this mic, I need my eyes. I need the mind behind the eyes. And I need validation from others also. Is that not so? Suppose if I say, this is fan, you all will laugh at me, right? So, if I say mic, at least some of you should agree with me, na? So, all these things are required. But regarding the self, to know it or to abide in it, you don't need the sense organs, the mind, or anybody's confirmation, anybody's validation. It is swata siddham. It is self-evident and self-established. Swata siddha. And vyomavad apratarkyam. It is like space. Space means what? It is all pervading, very subtle, very, very subtle. Apratarkyam means you cannot define it. If you try to define it, you are defiling it. You cannot define the truth. You cannot define the self. So, apratarkyam. Ato mrishamatram idam pratitam jahihi yat swatmataya grihitam. Therefore, mrishamatram, this is false. Idam pratitam, whatever is seen in the world or in the mind, jahihi, give it up. Yat swatmataya grihitam. So whatever you consider as your own self, the body, mind, etc., and all that is projected by body, mind, everything has to be given up. That's what just I told you, na? What we have to do, that is what he is explaining. In meditation, what we have to do. So we have to reject everything. Not the gross, not the subtle, and then you arrive at the real thing. From there, okay. Hato mrishamatram idam pratitam jahihi yas swatmataya grihitam. Therefore, whatever you have held as your own self till this point of time, that you have to reject it as not me. So this is the crux of the Vedanta Shastra. See, you please understand, this is what is very important. You people miss this point. That is why I am saying again and again. Only when you identify with the body, the gross world is created. Only when you identify the mind, thoughts. So, when you give up the body identification, the identification of the mind, there is no word, there are no thoughts. What is left is only the Chinmatra Swarupam. See, this is really not understood, Only in the waking world, when we identify the gross body, there is a gross world. Or as if the world outside. So in the dream, when we identify the mind, there is the subtle world. And the deep sleep, of course, the ignorance. So, when you identify with the body, you cannot negate the gross world at all. When you identify with the mind, you cannot negate the world, inner world. Only when you give up this mad identification with the body mind, you can give up the world, gross or subtle. So whatever you have been holding on as yourselves, that is creating the world outside and inside. See, this has to be really appreciated, you know. See, after so much of contemplation, only we arrive at this idea, this understanding. Otherwise, we take everything for granted. That is a world outside, what can I do? There is a world inside happening. No. Please be careful. This is a very, very subtle thought. Only when you identify with the gross body, there is a gross world. Along with the body identification rises the world, waking world. Along with the identification of the mind rises the dream world. Dream world is the inner world actually. See, the thoughts when they arise, they don't have any object, no? They just arise as a thought only. So therefore, please understand, because of the identification only the world is created. See, that is what we have been telling you. When the I comes with because of identification, the ego self comes because of identification, the world is created. So the world is not there, you see it. Your identification happens, therefore the world. This is a very important point. Therefore, if you give up the identification, there is no world. World, what you see is nothing but the identification of the not self with the self, with the self with the not self. There is no world sitting like that without the identification of the not self. Therefore, if you give up the identification of the not self, the world is given up. See, when you have free time, now you contemplate on this one point very deeply. This is a very important point. See, Bhagavan says, Udal Ulahu Vittu, Bhagavan says, meaning Udal means the body, Ulahu means the world. So the Udal, the body identification and the world rises simultaneously and goes simultaneously. So when the identification happens, the world rises. And which is the main thread for this identification? Is the ego self, the I thought. Bhagavan has again and again emphasized, whatever may be the identification, be the body or mind or this or that, what is the central thread of our identification is the I, the idea of I, the ego self. So he says, there you hold on to that I and inquire what is this I. When this central identification is given up, all the identification is given up. See, this is Bhagavan's speciality. See, Adi Shankara and others, because of the inability of the student, they come down and they say, this is the identity, this is the identity, they show it differently. But how Bhagavan approaches, for all the identification, the moolam is the I thought only, the ego self only. So you work on there, all the identification is given up. When all the identification is given up, you arrive at your own self. So only with identification of the body, the world is created. With identification of the mind, the inner world is created. Since we don't know the self, both these worlds are created. The identification happens and both the worlds are created. When the identification is given up, there is no world to perceive. At least you can understand this way, there is no world other than you, apart from you, separate from you. See, you close the door, but still it comes. Anyway, you close the door, it helps a little. Yes.
In ignorance, I am asking.
All the questions are out of ignorance only.
I think that when we say the reflection of consciousness in the subtle body, with that, the first I thought starts, am I right? And with that, the world is created.
Nisargadatta Maharaj, Nisargadatta Maharaj says, this I thought which is arising, he says that is the scribbling pen. As if he says, that scribbles the world. I was so amazed when I, first read that statement. So this I thought, which is rising as I, the experiencer, he is like the scribbling pen which scribbles the whole world, he says. When the pen is broken, no world. இதெல்லாம் ஏன் நம்ப முடியக்கூடியதாக இருக்கா? From the ordinary layman's point of view, he cannot even imagine that I am only creating this world. Hey, what are you talking? This world has been there for time immemorial. Because it has been there. All these Mahatmas were born. They lived their lives. They gave this scripture and they had gone back. And now we are born. We will also go. The future generations, they may come and they get benefited. So this is recorded for the posterity. These talks are recorded for the posterity, for the future generation to benefit. These are all our ideas, right? All this is wrong. Then why are you recording, Swamiji? சும்மா பொழுதுபோக்குக்கு தான். அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு ஒரு வேலை வேணும் தானே. So that's why when she said, Swami, I have deleted, I said, பரவாயில்ல இப்போ என்ன? If you delete the whole channel also, it is fine. You cannot delete me, the real self. You cannot delete yourself, the real self. See? And when I checked in the net, they say the whole channel can be deleted, it seems.
One check.
No. It will recheck. It will ask again and again, do you really want to? But if you are a very perverted person, if he has your password and all, if he wants to delete your channel, you can delete it, seems. But it can be retrieved also. When you talk to those people, it can be retrieved also, but you can delete. So, if you can delete the whole world, why not you delete the channel? Atma channel. But only thing which cannot be deleted is the self, that you are. So, how wonderful. What we were talking? Only with the identification of the body, the world is created. Identification with the ego self, everything is. This is the revelation. This is why he is called as Maharishi, not for any other reason, சும்மா எல்லாரையும் மகரிஷின்னு கூப்பிட முடியாது. You cannot call anybody as Rishi or Maharishi. The seers who have revealed something extraordinary, they are called as Rishis. Vishwamitra Rishi revealed Gayatri Mantra. So he is called as a Rishi. Like that, each Rishis have revealed something extraordinary. So they are called as Rishis. He is called as Maharishi, the chief or this thing among Rishis. And who has given this Kavya Kanta? Who has mastered all the scriptures? Kavya Kanta Ganapati Muni. He is not an ordinary person, a great Sanskrit scholar, mastered all scriptures, great tapasvi. He, out of his wisdom, he called Bhagavan as, he is Ramana Maharshi. Ramana means always reveling. Ramanam, sporting with the self, reveling in the self. His name is not Ramana. Nobody knew his name actually. He said Ramana Maharshi he is. Because this is the thing. But it is always contained in our Upanishads. In Adi Shankara's Prakarana Grantha. All these ideas. It is not new, please. This is where the Ramana devotees go wrong. They think Bhagavan only has come and given everything, and before that nobody was knowing anything. That is a stupid thought. Even Bhagavan will never agree to it. Bhagavan himself was very, very accommodative and very, very different. See, that is why Buddha was different. The followers of Buddha are stupid. They have become fanatical. Out of their love and devotion for their master, they become very fanatical. Oh, nobody can come as Buddha anyway. Only one Buddha. There can never be any Buddha. You go and talk to the Buddhist monks, they tell you this. There cannot be any Buddha anymore. Only one Buddha. So, Bhagavan only revealed this. Before that, there were nobody. Everybody were, reveling in darkness. Only Bhagavan was reveling in light. After that only the Brahma Jnanam came into the world. Some people argue like that, It was there. Kastvam koham kutayataha kami janani kome tata. It is there in the Bhajagovindam. Kastvam. Who are you? Koham. Who am I? Kutayataha. Where from I have come? Kame janani. Who is your mother? Kome tata, who is your father? This is the inquiry. நீங்க க்ளோஸ் பண்ணவொன்னு அவனும் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டான்னு நினைக்கிறேன். No, it's continuing. So this is the inquiry. So it is all there in our scriptures. So it is not Srishti Drishti. The creation is there, you are seeing. It is Drishti Srishti. You are seeing, therefore the world is created. Wait, Swamiji, what? You are seeing, therefore there is a world. Swamiji, இப்படிலாம் நீங்கள் பேசினா அவ்வளோதான். We will give you up. Instead of giving up the world, we will give you up. That is easy, na? இனிமேல் இந்த இவரோட லெக்சருக்கெலாம் போக வேண்டாம்ப்பா. என்னமோ சொல்லி குழப்பறார். இன்னும் புரியலை. How can you say this beautiful world is mithya? That is what Subramanya Bharati asks in that poem, Nirpaduve Nadapaduve. How can you say this is all unreal? How can it be? It is not, he says. All our Mahatmas, who have taken up the song and composed it, they thought, Bhagavan is Bharati is saying, Nirpaduve Nadapaduve, Ningal Ellam Soppanam Dhanuna, is all unreal, he says. No, he's all saying it's unreal. If you see, they have edited the last few paragraphs. There he clearly establishes it is not unreal, it is Shakti's play, he says. That is another way of looking at it. But that is not Advaita Vedanta. The strictest Advaita Vedanta is, they say it is all unreal, the self alone is truth. And from that standpoint, everything is truth. Truth alone exists. From the Adharam standpoint, whatever you see is that only. See, we are so obsessed with the projection that we may have to otherwise say that, no, all that is projected is, Brahman only. Why can't you just accept it's all projection and keep quiet? No, all that is projected is also Brahman only. Why? Because we are so obsessed with projection. We cannot give it up. So they have to come down and say, okay, all projected is also substratum only, the Satyam only. Okay, what you are seeing as snake is also true only, as rope. As rope. Not as snake, as rope. When they say that is also truth, means as rope it is truth. Not as snake. Snake it is false. As Namarupa it is false. As the Adharam, the substratum, it is truth. That is what is said again and again. But we can't give it up. So here it is very clear. This is the way to go. There is few more minutes. It is only 8, na? Till 8. Okay. Mritkaryam sakalam ghatati Satatam mrimatramevahitam Tadvat sajjanitam sadhatmakam Idam sanmatramevakilam Yasman nasti satapparam Kimapi tat satyam sa atma swayam Tasmat tattvamasi prashantam Amalam brahmadvayam yatparam. See, once again the same idea has come here. Mritkaryam sakalam ghatati satatam mrimatrameva. Whatever has come out of the mud pots, are nothing but mud only, nothing other than the mud. See, mrit karyam, the effect. Karya means effect. That is whatever has come out from the mud. Mrit karyam, sakalam, everything, ghatati, whatever, the pot made of mud or jar or whatever made of mud. Satadam mrinmatrameva. So everything is mud only. Tadvat, similarly, sat janitam sadatmakam idam sanmatrameva akilam. Whatever has come out of Brahman, the Sat, is nothing else but Brahman only. Sat janitam sadatmakam idam. Idam means this world which you see, which has come out of Brahman, as if, is Brahman only, not other than Brahman. Sanmatrameva akilam. Yasman nasti sataparam kimapi. There is nothing other than this self whatsoever. Tat satyam, that is the truth. Sa Atma Swayam, that is your own true self. Tasmat, therefore, Tattvamasi, you are that. What is that? Prashantam. You are that peaceful. Prashantam. See, the Shanti in the Vyavaharik world has got opposite, Ashanti. Meaning, let us say, when we consider the quietness as Shanti, morning everything is quiet. I am enjoying the solitude, the quiet atmosphere of the ashram. This is Shanti. Suddenly the loudspeaker blares. What happened? Ashanti has come. Then you react. Why this loudspeaker now? Then what happened? Shanti has been destroyed. Ashanti has come. But Prashanti is such that it cannot be disturbed by Ashanti. Because it's beyond Shanti and Ashanti. When you are with the self, when there is nothing else, whatever happens, you are not disturbed. That is Prashanti. Beyond mind you are. So Prashantam you are. Amalam, no mala. Amalam, you are pure. Brahmadvayam, you are that one. Brahma, Param, Supreme. Therefore, it is very, I will explain it in the next class, but whatever has come out of Brahman is Brahman only. Therefore, you are that. Don't have any doubt about it. You are that pure self, beyond everything. And the Shruti also, with hundreds of Mahavakyas, have established this. Tattvamasi, you are that. Therefore, there is no doubt about it. Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. See, after the breakfast,